again. Thanks everybody for having me. Quite the story. My kids are here, so less is more sometimes. But anyways, I don't want to disagree with another inductee, but Dr. Mraz, as a hockey player, we were very excited for the football team to leave campus because, as you know, the ratio from men to women here is not great, and our main competition was the football team. So we were all ecstatic when the football team was going to be disbanded as hockey players. So we were a little upset when you kept them here at campus. I had my eyes on one girl my whole career, and she was sniffing around those football players. And I was upset that he stuck around on campus, but it's a good ending. I'm now married to her, and we have eight kids, so it worked out well. 8 daughters, Tim, so I got you beat by at least 6. So yeah, anyways, thank you all for being here. This is a huge honor. I think everybody already expressed how much of an honor this is. I don't think I should be here. I can name off 4, 5, 6 players on my team who are way better than I am. Chris Connor, Colin Murphy, Taggart DeSmit, Brandon Schwartz, all these guys were incredible hockey players. I just stumbled into this career and worked my tail off and somehow ended up here. So I'm really, really honored to be here up with these just really, really influential people here at Michigan Tech, and it's just really cool to be here. So it's funny, my first moment at Tech, I went and stepped into the AD's office my first day on campus. And I'm sure all the other athletes do that. You meet the AD, you meet your coach, you check out your new facilities. And I sat down in Mr. Yo's office, and we start talking, and about 2 minutes into the conversation, he's like, oh, you're going to love the court, you're going to love the locker rooms, we got a great new court and this and that. And I'm like, this guy thinks I'm a basketball player. And I swear to you, he said that. So the conversation kept going, because I'm not going to interrupt the AD and say, no, I'm a hockey player. 5 minutes goes on. He's like, oh, Coach Luke's going to love you. Like, we have a great team this year, this and that. And finally, I stopped him. I said, I'm a hockey player. Did you not know that? He's like, oh, yeah, of course, no big deal. So it was just a very humbling experience right away coming to Tech. And that just kind of went with my whole career. I majored in mechanical engineering. It was a lot of work because when I came here, I thought I was just going to get a degree, go back to St. Catharines, and work at Ford as an engineer. I'm Canadian, so it was just kind of like a means to an end. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship, and I'm going to work my tail off and go home. Professional hockey wasn't even an option at that point. MTU hockey was not so good. I think we won 15 games my whole 4 years here. We were very, average at best. So my goal was to just play hockey, get a degree, and go home. And I'll never forget my second year here. We had a new coach, Ian Calais and Jamie Russell. They came in, and I sat down with the coach, and he looked me in the eye. He's like, you have something a lot of people don't have. He said, you can't coach big. And I was like, what's that? He's like, yeah, you're big. Like, not a lot of hockey players are big. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, how big are you? I was like, 6'7", 6'8". He's like, it says here you're like 6'6", 6'7". He's like, you're big. Because I always thought scouts like smaller players. I was an inch under 6'9", but I always put 6'7" in my stats. He's like, no, you want to be big. And it was at that moment where he said, if you want to pursue this, if you want to put in the work, you can be a professional hockey player. And something right there just clicked. And I was like, okay, maybe this is an option. And it was at that moment where he said, I will work with you. This was Ian Clay, the assistant coach. And every day after that, 20 minutes before practice, an hour after practice, I was out with him, just me and him, working on my feet, working on my hands, every single practice. And you don't get that at other schools. You don't get that at other organizations, because I think here at Tech, they really, truly love the students. They love what they do. I think at other organizations, other facilities, other schools, it's a business. They churn out players. It's more of like players come in, players come out. Here, they invest in their students, they invest in their people, and they turn you into great people. I think every speaker here has shown that. They're great people because they went to Tech. And just being able to be with those coaches every single day, every day for hours, and I know all the athletes here can attest to this, it means a lot that they're investing in you and you don't want to let them down. And leaving Michigan Tech, I was light years better on the ice, but I was so much more confident and assured in myself as a human being and as a man. I couldn't talk to a grown-up, let alone a group of people, without bawling my eyes out. My kids told me, Abe, my oldest daughter is here, she's like, don't cry. When you're up here, don't cry. And so I'm not going to cry, but they prepare you for real life. And it's funny, I've done a lot of cool things in my life. I played pro hockey for 10 years. I was in the All-Star game, MVP. Like, there's a movie about me. I've written books. I've done a lot of things, like great things. It all originates here. It all started right here, and I tell everybody that. every one of the things I've accomplished, whether it's working on NBC TV for Chicago, flying all over the world, it starts right here. It starts with Suzanne Standograd, Joel Isaacson. It starts with Mike Sturdich, my first coach, Mark Morasti, wherever he's at. It started with all those people who invested their time in me to get me to this spot. So I think everybody, and I keep bringing up everybody, it might say my name on that plaque. There's 150, 250 people that got me to this spot. And I'm truly grateful for that because they don't get the acknowledgement. There's so many people who deserve to be here instead of me. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Michigan Tech. I truly love being a Husky. This was my only option. I had no other school who wanted me. This was it. If it wasn't this, I was just going home. So I tried to make the best of it. I love coming to school here. I come up here as much as I can. I hope all my daughters come here. And thank you very much for having me.